Do you regret being a part of it?
Without my presence,
do you regret being a part of PAC?
It was a gaffe, and I apologized to my followers because I gave it more credibility than it should have had. Yeah, it was not a sincere process.
What's your relationship with those who were part of that process?
Oh, very good, very good. My disagreement with them is not a personal issue. It was just a matter of principle.
And Dr. Obi?
Certainly, quite good. I don't have a problem with anybody on a personal basis. No, the personal relationships will always be there. But we must always stand up for our principles. And nobody should crucify me for standing up for my principles. After all, in the CUPP alliance, and some people who entered that alliance left it after Mr. Atiku Abubakar emerged as the running mate, because the candidate, because they disagreed with how. Apparently, there was some agreement about how that should arrive. I don't think anybody entering an agreement with the PDP should have expected anyone else other than a PDP person to emerge as the candidate. But I think there were questions about how. And they walked away from it, despite being part of. Has anybody crucified them? SDP left. So I don't understand the hula baloo about PAC. It's just people who either have an agenda or don't have the full information that talk about it. It's a distraction. I'm focused on winning the election, and we will win the election. Because we have wide acceptance across this country.
Do you think the two main parties which you keep mentioning,
yes,
the APC and the PDP,
yeah,
do you think they and their candidates in particular take you seriously enough?
Yes, they do. I know they do, because I can tell you that I've been under a lot of pressure to step down and accept.
What sort of pressure?
And accept certain juicy possibilities. Yes. So, of course, they take me very seriously. I've been approached directly on several occasions, not once, not twice. So there is some concern in some quarters that my candidacy is having a very strong impact. They did not anticipate that our candidacy would have the kind of influence and impact on the ground. I'm talking about on the ground. I'm not talking about social media or all those things. I'm talking about on the ground, because we are campaigning on the ground in nooks and crannies across the country.
Are those offers you're going to take up?
No.
If any of them get into office, would you take up any offers?
No, please don't. Let's not discuss hypotheticals here.
But the election is also in the future.
But if somebody is telling you to step down and not be a candidate, do you understand what I'm saying? Don't be a candidate and step down. Don't cause trouble. Don't rock the boat. We can see that people are listening to you, but blah, 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 blah. What about this possibility if you choose not to run?
All right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? But I've said, of course you're kidding. I'm going to be on the ballot and I'm going to win.
And I'm going through your, what you call, I guess it's just a small pamphlet.
Yeah, a brochure,
yeah. There's a lot you're trying to focus on. What are your key things are you trying to run on?
Yeah.
Key points are you trying to run on? Because I know that the current president at the time had about 3-4 major things he tried to run on at the time. Whether he fulfilled that is another story. But this seems that I can see 7 to 10 points here.
Yes.
Are these all the things you're promising?
Let me tell you something about politics and governance in Nigeria. People always focus on, okay, what are the key things, 2-3 things. You see, my approach to leadership as president of Nigeria will be very different. I will address the foundations of Nigeria's challenges, the challenge of nationhood, the challenge of poverty, and the challenge of the fact that in the world today, Nigeria has fallen. These are the 3 basic things, but we will address things foundationally. For example, I believe that unless we constitutionally restructure this country, we are going nowhere.
How do you expect to achieve that?
Oh, it can be achieved by working closely.
You can't do it alone.
No, you can't. By working closely with the legislature.
Politicians and the legislature that traditionally.
But let me tell you why it will happen. 1, I will bring leadership, real leadership. We are not restructured today because President Buhari does not want Nigeria restructured. Let nobody deceive himself. If President Buhari was committed to a constitutional restructuring of Nigeria, it would have happened within 3 years. That's a fact. But he is opposed to it because he is stuck in the worldview of unitary supremacist government at the center. This is a flow, something that flows from 1966 military intervention. Nigeria was a federation before, in the real sense. We are still called the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but we're not really a federation because most of the powers are in the central government. They control natural resources. In a federation, that never happens, in a real federation. So I will lead by working with the National Assembly a constitutional restructuring process for this country that reestablishes Nigeria as a proper federation so that we can stabilize this country, so that we can have equity and justice, and you will not be having feelings of marginalization.
And I keep asking, what is the incentive? What is the incentive of politicians in different parties? Because I don't know how many YPP candidates are there running for the legislature. How many of them are going to win?
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to get a majority? Probably not.
We may not get a majority.
You're going to be working with opposition parties. Yes. Who would want you out of office so that they can get their guys in?
No.
What is
I can tell you that the problem we will have when I become president, as a YPP president, is that many politicians will want to rush into the YPP. Because that is the mentality of Nigerian politicians.
And you would accept them in anyways, isn't that?
Well, I mean, why not? If there's good reason to do so. But some people, you have to be careful if they're coming into your party, because
does that not bring us back now to the point where we are today?
Yeah,
where
you don't want
it's
that.
A rotating
That's what I'm
door.
trying to say. You don't really want that. You want, it doesn't matter what party you're in, but you want to collaborate with political leaders across the aisle as a leader. And if you have a vision, and if you can articulate that vision, not articulate it, but articulate it, just to be very clear, you know, if you can sell that vision to them in a way that shows them what the collective self-interest is, it can work.
And looking at the Nigerian politician today, we know that most times politicians know what to do,
but
they don't
want to
do
what
they want to do. So that's why I keep asking how.
How? Let me tell you.
It sounds nice from you saying it, but doing it is a whole other thing.
Let me tell you. First of all, most Nigerians today want restructuring. Do we agree on that?
I believe so.
Yes, good. Yeah. So we're going to go to the people of Nigeria and awaken their power. Anybody that you send to the National Assembly and that person doesn't do your wish, that person is representing you. Is that not so? Start the process of recall. Nigerians have been beaten down by politicians so that we don't know our own power, the power of the office of the citizen. Many people don't understand it. If you have a government that is interested in liberating the masses of this country, such as my government will be interested in, we will awaken the people to know their true power and to use that power against politicians who want to stand in between them and their progress. And you will see that a lot of politicians will behave themselves.
Everywhere.
So there are two tracks. You yourself are negotiating directly with the politicians, but the people themselves are putting pressure that this is now what we want. It's not easy to resist popular pressure.